Okay, here's the third video installment for Personality of Psychology, Marshall University, fall 2016. We're still talking about behaviorism and these theories, the behaviorist theories. We just got through, this was the slide you just looked at the end of the second video, reinforcement. Now I want to talk a little bit about punishment. Again, take good notes, write this stuff down. Now, again, we'll talk more about this as we go, but just to give you a basic understanding. Now, with punishment, we don't want to increase, and write this down, we want to decrease the chances that a behavior will happen again. So again, with punishment, we want to decrease the likelihood or decrease the chances that a given behavior will happen again. And here, positive and negative mean exactly the same thing. I'm going to go back that they did with reinforcement. Okay? Same thing. Positive here simply means that we are giving or administering something. That's all it means. Negative here simply means that we are removing or taking something away. That's all it means. Okay? So again, positive doesn't necessarily mean good, and negative doesn't necessarily mean bad here. I'll give you an example of punishment. Again, we want to decrease the behavior. Okay? If I want to decrease the chances that my daughter will say something inappropriate, I'm just going to hypothetically use this as an example. I want to decrease the chances that my young daughter will curse in front of her grandparents. Okay? Hypothetically. I can go about this in a positive way or a negative way. Positive punishment means you're giving something. So I could give her something if she curses in front of her grandparents. I could give her a scolding. I could give her a spanking. I could give her extra chores to do. But whatever it is that I give her, it has to be something that she does not like. It has to be aversive. Because if I'm giving her something that she likes, and some kids like to be scolded, they like the attention. If they like that attention, then you're not going to be punishing. You're going to be reinforcing that behavior, which is what you don't want to do. So again, this underpins, again, the personality theories we'll be talking about later. So I want to make sure that we understand this. Okay? So positive punishment, you're giving or administering something to decrease the chances that behavior will happen again. So I could scold her. I could spank her. I could give her extra chores to do. That would decrease the chances that she'll curse in front of grandparents. Negative means you're removing something. If you've ever been grounded, this is the classic example of negative punishment. What I could do is say, okay, you've cursed in front of your grandparents. I am now going to remove you from the environment that you so much enjoy. I'm going to take away something that you like. I'm going to take away your cell phone. Worst dad in the world when you do that, by the way. So if I take away her cell phone, I'm taking away something that she likes. And that's the trick with negative punishment. Whatever it is you take away, it has to be something that they like or enjoy. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So if I take away her cell phone for a week, every time she curses, then chances are she's not going to curse as much, or maybe at all. So that's how reinforcement and punishment work. And the behaviors sort of look to reinforcement and punishment as shaping how we function and shaping really our personalities. So important to understand that. The last theory I want to talk about, and then when we actually meet again next week in class, we're going to talk in class a lot more about psychodynamic theory. It's the first one that we're going to encounter. But I'm going to give you some basic information. Again, take some notes here. Sigmund Freud is obviously the guy who's most closely associated with psychodynamic theory. The mind has separate components. You have conscious and unconscious elements or components. Conscious simply means that you are aware. If you're conscious, you're awake, or you're aware by definition. I would jot that down. Unconscious then simply means that you are not aware. I think it's fair to say that we all do things that we're not aware of at times. We say things, we may be doing things, and we're not even aware that we're doing it. People have to point it out to us. People point out that I'm real fidgety, and I know I am. I don't really pay attention to it. I don't really notice it until someone points it out to me. Like, oh yeah, maybe you're right. If I watch a video of myself, I see it. So, to be aware and then to be unaware. And this theory focuses largely on the unconscious. And psychodynamic theories assert that much behavior is influenced by these unconscious forces that in turn help to shape our personalities. We'll talk about psychoanalysis. Again, we'll get way more into that when we actually meet in class again, but just to give you a definition of psychodynamic theories. You want to have this in your notes. Psychodynamic theory is a theory of mental events. There's a typo, that should be events, not events. Sorry. Adjust my camera here just a little bit so we can see better. A theory of mental events that specifies the continual push and pull interaction among conscious and unconscious thoughts and feelings, and also specifies how such interactions affect behaviors. So psychodynamic theories assert that there's this constant push and pull, or conflict between what we're aware of and what we're not aware of, conscious and unconscious thoughts, and these actually, as well as feelings, and these actually impact our behaviors in ways that we're often unaware of. And again, according to Freud and according to the psychodynamic theorists, these really impact our personalities and how they develop. So again, I can't underscore enough the importance here of the unconscious with these theories. Again, being unaware. And I don't want to talk a lot about the defense mechanisms here because we're going to get into some of the specific ones when we meet in class again, when we talk about psychodynamic theories more in depth. But get this in your notes. Defense mechanisms are unconscious attempts that we make to avoid dealing with pain, emotional pain. Again, defense mechanisms are unconscious attempts that we make to avoid dealing with emotional pain. And I want to talk about one type. We're going to talk about several different types of, several different defense mechanisms actually in class when we meet again. But I want to give you one. This is one that we're all familiar with, that we can all probably relate to. Denial. So you want to jot this down. We've often heard people say, well, you must be in denial, or this person is just in denial. They don't want to accept something. Denial, by definition, is just simply the unconscious attempt to not accept something that has happened. It's an unconscious attempt or effort we make to not accept something that has obviously happened. We see this a lot in the initial stages of grief. If, God forbid, someone loses a loved one. Let's just say hypothetically, God forbid, you go home tonight after class, or you wake up in the morning and someone tells you that a very close loved one has passed away. It could be your mother, it could be your father, your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, child. Hopefully not, of course. Your first reaction isn't going to be, well, okay, yeah, that happens. People die. I get it. I'm cool with that. No, it's not going to be like that. Most people are going to reject that notion initially, and maybe even for a while say, well, no, that didn't happen. That can't be true. They don't want to accept the fact that something traumatic has happened. This is a way to kind of push that pain away unconsciously and not have to deal with it right this second. We're in denial. A lot of people are in denial about and we could use lots of examples, about drug addiction, or they may be in denial about their sexual orientation, or they may be in denial about a lot of different things. So it's an unconscious attempt that we're making, according to the psychodynamic theories here, to not deal with stuff. And we all kind of do this. And again, this plays into personality. I'll give you one more example of a defense mechanism. Something that we've all done is displacement. It's an unconscious attempt to. The attempt is unconscious. We don't really think about doing it, but we do it. It's basically taking out your anger or frustration on a safe target. Again, taking out your angers or frustrations on a safe target. For example, if your supervisor or boss yells at you or tells you you're doing a crappy job, you can't really lash out at him or her without fear of reprisal. You may get fired. Your boss may make your job even more difficult. Some bad things could happen to you. So instead of taking out your frustrations and anger on your supervisor, you come home and you yell at your wife or your girlfriend, or you kick the dog, or you punch a wall, or you slam your cell phone or your laptop. You're taking out that frustration on a safe target, someone who can't hurt you or can't hurt you nearly as much as the person that you really need or should direct that anger toward. So, I'm going to skip through some of these here. Actually, we're going to call that the end of the third video installment here. So again, have good notes on these guys. If you have any questions, this is kind of basic theory stuff, but it's stuff I need to cover with you. Better to do it this way than in class. And we'll save our class time next week for some more interesting and more specific things as they relate to personality theory. Thank you very much.